Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading Ship of Destiny. So, Ship of Destiny is the third and final book in the Liveship Traders Trilogy, which is part of the Realm of the Elderlings series, and these are fantasy series, and I will link the videos for books 1 and 2 in case you haven't watched them and want to watch before this one. And I really enjoyed the first book in this trilogy, but I absolutely loved the second book. And the way it ended, it just made me so excited to get back into this world, to get back to these characters and these plotlines that I am so invested in. Like, I was basically invested in everything that was happening. And so, yeah, I was just very excited to get into this book. And I just want to say that there are definitely spoilers in this reading vlog, and let's just get into it. Okay, so I made it to page 303 of the book, and we start off in the prologue with She Who Remembers finding one of the serpents that she's supposed to give the memories to, and she tries to give him the memories, but he's like too far gone, and so it doesn't work. And now she's like really worried that, she has taken too long and her species is basically doomed, but she's still like moving on and trying to find more serpents to give the memories to. And I mean, we know that the species is not doomed because there is like that group of serpents that is looking for She Who Remembers. So I'm guessing that at some point they're gonna meet and gonna save the whole species. And then Winthrop is still like, since his interaction with She Who Remembers, he has been kind of like in sort of a coma, and Vivacia can no longer like feel the connection with him, and Kenneth is really happy about that because he wants the Vivacia all for himself. And Winthrop is like actually kind of dying, and in his head he's talking to the dragon that used to be Vivacia. And like Winthrop is telling the dragon that he doesn't want to die, and the dragon replies, "Neither did I, but I did. Rich as I am in memories of flying, my own wings never were unfurled. For the sake of building this ship, my cocoon was stripped from me before I could hatch. They dumped that which would have been my body to the cold stone floor. All I am are memories, memories stored in the walls of my cocoon, memories I should have reabsorbed as I formed in the hot sun of summer. I had no way to live or grow, save through the memories your kind offered. I absorbed what you gave me, and when it was enough, I quickened. But not as myself. No, I became the shape you had imposed upon me, and took to myself the personality that was the sum of your family's expectations, Vivacia." And so basically that explains better the transformation of these serpents to the life ships, because I mean, I knew it was a connection, and I knew that life ships were somehow like dead serpents or dead dragons, but basically it's like while the serpents are turning into dragons and they're like in their cocoon, that can be used as like the wizard would for the light ships. And then we later have a passage of like from Vivacia's POV, and it says, "She was not Vivacia, not really. She had never been anything except the stolen life of a dragon. Her pseudo life was fastened onto the remnants of the dragon's death. She had no real right to exist. Rainwild workers had split open the cocoon of the metamorphosing dragon. The germ of its life had been flung out, to perish squirming on a cold stone floor, while the threads of memory and knowledge that had enclosed it were dragged off and cut up into planks to build light ships." And so then the dragon kind of forces like Winthrop to wake up, and Vivacia can feel him again, but that means that she can also feel like all the memories that he had from the dragon that she was supposed to be. And now she knows like what she is, and she knows that she's like dead, and then she like decides to die. And then Kenneth is like not accepting that she's dead, and like he kind of brings her back to life, but it's not Vivacia, like it's not the same personality, like it's the dragon that was talking to Winthrop. And then Winthrop is like talking to the new Vivacia, who wants to be called Bolt now. And he's talking to Bolt then, and he asks, Vivacia, where is she now? Did you imprison her within yourself, or have you destroyed her? And Bolt says, she never was. Don't you understand? She was just a shell, a muddle of memories that your ancestors tried to impose on me. She wasn't real. As a result, she isn't anywhere, not imprisoned in me, nor destroyed. She's like a dream I had, and part of me, I suppose, in the sense that dreams are a part of the dreamer. Vivacia is gone. All that was hers is mine now, including you. And so basically, like, Vivacia is gone. Now there's only Bolt, but Wintrow still believes that Vivacia is, somewhere, like, her personality, her, like, memories as a life ship, and so he's, like, not gonna give up on trying to bring Vivacia back. And at the same time, Kenneth is much happier with this new ship, with Bolt, because their intentions kind of align, and Bolt is, like, very mean, and they both want Wintrow gone, and I am sad about that. Then we see that Malta is, like, I don't think I even mentioned this in that last video, but she is with the satrap, who is, like, the leader of, like, the region. He's kind of, like, in charge of the traders, and Malta is with him and one of his companions, and they are, like, rescued by a ship, but it's a ship of people that are loyal to the satrap, and let's just say Malta's situation has not really improved. She's still in a really bad spot, and I am still worried about her. And then we see that Paragon is attacked by pirates, and, they fight and stuff, and then they take one of the pirates prisoner, and Althea and Brashen are, like, asking him about Kenneth, like, how they can find him, where he is, and all of that. And the pirate, like, will not say because he's loyal to Kenneth. And then he says that he was actually one of the slaves that was in the Vivacia while Kyle was the captain. And so he's obviously loyal to Kenneth because Kenneth, saved him. And I obviously understand that. I just hate that Kenneth is gaining so many, like, people who trust him and help him and, work for him, when he's only doing everything he's doing for his own gain. It pisses me off because he doesn't give a fuck about anybody else, but somehow he still has, like, so many followers and so many people who want to help him. And yeah, that just pisses me off. But anyway, I think the last thing I read was that the dragon that was, like, released by Malta in the other book is, like, trying to also save his species, and he finds a serpent, and the serpent is, like, supposed to be turning into a dragon, but it's one of the serpents that has, like, completely lost memory of everything. Like, it doesn't even know who he is or what it is anymore. And so she's just like She Who Remembers. The dragon is worried that, like, their species really, really is in trouble. And that is where I'm at, and I am loving this book so much. And I mean, finally I know the full connection of, like, serpents and life ships and dragons. And I mean, like I said, I already knew pretty much that, like, life ships were dead dragons and / serpents, but now I know, like, exactly how they are turned into life ships, and it kind of makes the life ships even more interesting. And yeah, like, I don't like that the old Vivacia is gone because, like I said, Bolt is really mean, and I understand Bolt being mean and wanting revenge because, like, they killed it. It was supposed to be a dragon, and it's, they killed it and made a ship, so, like, I get it. But I'm just sad for Wintrow because, like, he lost his ship, his friend, and now, like, they want him gone. And I just love Wintrow so much, and I just want him to catch a fucking break, but he can't. He can never catch a break. And yeah, I mean, I'm still loving to also follow the serpents and the dragons and, seeing how they're trying to save their species. And I just honestly wish we had more of Althea, because when I started this series, I thought she was going to be, like, the main character. Everything was going to be, like, mostly about her. And I mean, she's there, she's in the Paragon trying to find Vivacia, but, she's, I don't know, I wanted more from her, and I hope we get more from her. But overall, I am loving this book. I am having such a good time, and I am understanding things even better now, and I am so invested, and I am so excited, and I will read another third and get back to you. Okay, so I made it to page 612, and a lot has happened, but I feel like the main thing is like that happened was between the crew of the Paragon and the crew of Vivacia, who now is not Vivacia anymore, so Bolt. And first of all, the Paragon and his crew, obviously, they get to the pirate isles, the pirate towns, and they are looking for Kenneth. And they just hear people basically speaking well about him because he is their king. He's seen as, a good person who is freeing the slaves and who they trust and who they like. And basically, they see Kenneth as a hero. And Althea starts thinking that maybe Vivacia is also seeing Kenneth as a hero and that she likes Kenneth and that maybe she won't want to be separated from Kenneth. And she is not sure like what she should do about it because she obviously wants her ship back, but she doesn't want to separate her from someone that she cares about. And I mean, we know that the ship is not even Vivacia anymore, and Bolt does like, I mean, Vivacia was also like, she also liked Kenneth, but Bolt is like way more aligned, even more aligned with like his interests, and Bolt doesn't care at all about Althea, so we know that is not gonna go well. And while they are still there, they also learn about Wintrow's fate, like that he was turned into a slave and like bought by his own father, and that Kenneth also saved him from that. So Althea once again is pretty sure that Wintrow also cares about Kenneth and also sees him as a hero and as this good person, and she's also not sure like what to think about that. And then moving on to kind of Bolt, not really, but I think I need to talk about this first because it will make sense. The serpents, I mean, the like She Who Remembers is still following basically Bolt's path, and she finds these serpents that we have been following since book one, the ones that were looking for her, like that whole group, and she gives them the memories. And she also tells the serpents that she has awakened someone else, not just them, those serpents. She says, I have awakened another one as well. The silver one claims our kinship. I am wary of her, yet she alone may know the way home. And the silver one is Bolt, like the ship. And then Bolt is talking to Kenneth, and she says, they speak of serpent dreams, and I assure them that I share the same. That is all. They will follow me now and do as I tell them. Select your prey, Captain Kenneth. They will cut it out and run it down for you like a pack of wolves culling a bull from a herd. Say where we shall go, and all we encounter between here and there will fall like ripe fruit into your hands. And basically, these serpents are now gonna do whatever Bolt tells them, and that is the important part for the future. So, the Paragon and Bolt, like, they finally find each other, and we learn, like, before they actually, like, the two crews actually, like, meet each other, we learn that Kenneth is actually part of Paragon's family, like the family that used to own him. Like they knew each other when Kenneth was a kid. And like Kenneth, when she sees Paragon, I mean, he knew like that the ship he was going to encounter was his childhood ship. But when he actually sees him, he's thinking the ship would take joy in how he had prospered and grown. And no, it would not be like that. It would be confrontation and accusation, humiliation and shame. It would open the door to all past sorrows and let them pour out poison in the present. It would be looking into the face of your betrayed love. It would be admitting what he had done to ensure his own selfish survival. And he's saying that like there's only one person who like could betray his past, and so like Paragon had to die. And basically we learn that Kenneth like gave his memories of like his childhood, like the terrible memories of like the abuse he suffered when he was a child to Paragon. And Paragon was supposed to have died and like taken the memories with him, but that did not happen. Paragon did try to die, but it's not really easy for life ships to die, so he did not die, and he still has those memories that Kenneth doesn't want like to come back to the surface, and he doesn't want anyone to know about his past. And so basically he tells Bolt that he wants Paragon dead. And Bolt tells the serpents to attack Paragon and the crew, and they do it because, like I said, they believe that they should follow what Bolt is saying, and they start attacking Paragon. But then Paragon also talks to them because he's also like, he also has like soul of a dragon thing, whatever. And he also talks to the serpents, and the serpents realize that they shouldn't be attacking like another one of their own. And like, if Bolt wants Paragon dead, like, then she should do it herself. The serpents do not kill Paragon, but like, he was attacked and the crew was attacked, and so they are like weakened. And so the pirates like attack and they board Paragon and they kill most of the crew. And then Kenneth talks to Paragon and he convinces him again that like he should die for him. And Paragon, like, he doesn't mind like dying himself, but he doesn't want to kill his crew because he has grown attached to those people and he cares about them. But once again, like, Kenneth convinces him that he has to, and like, if he is the one to like set him on fire and like break him apart a little so he will sink, then it's not really Paragon killing them, it's just, you know, him like dying and letting it happen, so it's not his fault. And I mean, Paragon like does love him and he feels bad for what happened and that he kind of betrayed him because he didn't die. So he again agrees to die for Kenneth. And then basically Kenneth goes back to Bolt and they actually find some people in the water and they rescue them, and one of them actually turns out to be Althea. And so when she wakes up, she's like excited to be back in her ship until she realizes that, you know, it's not really Vivacia anymore, like she can't feel her. And then basically like Kenneth gives her something to drink that knocks her out, and like she's passed out now and he's trying to figure out exactly what to do with her. But basically like he wants her and the ship and Wintro, like he wants all of them for himself. And then so Paragon is dying and Amber is like trying to talk to him, trying to convince him to not do that. And she like bonds with him, and she can also hear like the dragons that are part of him because he was actually made with like wizard wood from 2 different dragons. So there are like 3 minds in Paragon, and they agree to not die, and they will like the 3 of them will merge into one. And then once Paragon has decided to, you know, not die, to survive, they decide that they are gonna go rescue Althea because Paragon lets them know that Althea did not die. She is aboard the boat. And that is where I'm at. And I am still really, really loving it. And we are learning so much in this book, not only about like these serpents and dragons and life shifts, but we also learned more like about Kenneth's past. And it's not that I suddenly like him, I still hate him completely, but I guess I can understand why he would become the person that he is, but I still really hate him. And I'm really sad about the whole like Wintro and Althea and Vivacia situation because, I mean, Althea, like, she was expecting to be welcomed by Vivacia, and I mean, Vivacia is not even herself anymore. She doesn't really exist. Like, Althea doesn't feel her at all, and she has no connection to Bolt. And Wintro also, like, he lost Vivacia and he also doesn't have a connection to Bolt, and they're both so sad, and they are both like with Kenneth, so that's not good. They're not, you know, really safe. And I also love to learn more about Paragon, even though like it was a really sad story, but I feel like everything about Paragon is sad. The only thing that is not sad is like that I love his friendship with Amber, and like she makes him happy, and like they are kind of a family, so I love their friendship, their dynamic. And yeah, I am very excited but also very nervous for the end of the book. I have 200 pages left, and yeah, like I said, I am very excited but also very nervous. Okay, so I finished the book, And remember when I said that the Vivacia was like gone? Well, not anymore, because Althea was kind of dying, and when she was dying, she was able to talk to Vivacia, and Vivacia like convinced her not to die, and at the same time, that kind of brought Vivacia back as well, and she and Bolt like merged into one, and I think even though like they merged, the final personality of the life ship was mostly Vivacia, but she is like whole. She doesn't really need the bonds to Althea anymore, which Althea is devastated about. And before we get into anything else, there is just one thing that I wanted to say, because Amber was talking to, honestly, I don't remember who she was talking to. Let me check. Okay, she was talking to Paragon, and he asks her, "What exactly are you?" And she says, "I have been called a fool as often as I have been called a prophet." And I was just like, a fool, that's interesting, because the fool in the Farseer trilogy was a prophet, or is a prophet, because the fool is alive. The fool is a prophet. So I'm like, is Amber the fool of those books? Because the fool is very, like, we don't know anything about them. We don't even know their gender. So it could be Amber. But is it? I have no idea, but I am confused and I am intrigued. But anyway, moving on. I think I actually forgot to mention in my previous update that the ship that Malta and the Satrap were in was actually taken by pirates. And those pirates actually like make their way to the Vivacia, to Kenneth. And so Malta is reunited with her brother Wintro and with her aunt Althea. And she also sees that her dad is not there. And honestly, like her dad was most of like, it was like her main reason to try to save them, even though like, fuck Kyle. But anyway, she sees that her father is not there. And then Kenneth and the satrap make a deal that basically he will let Kenneth be the king of the Pirate Isles. And then we see that the dragon, Tintaglia, she was with Rain, and she actually told Rain something that I don't feel like looking, honestly. But she says that basically he will be like the father of the new generation of elderlings or something like that. And that basically he needs to find someone who's worthy of being the mother of the new elderlings, something along those lines. But basically they find the ship where Malta is because they were looking for Malta, and she leaves Rain there at the Vivacia. I mean, I think she actually like leaves him in the sea, and then he's rescued to the ship, and she starts guiding the serpents that were following the Vivacia, like guiding them to where they need to go through their change into dragons. And then the Vivacia is like attacked by some other ships, and both Kenneth and the satrap are taken. And actually, like Paragon also finds the Vivacia, and actually before they went to find the Vivacia, they went to the Pirates Isles to get Kenneth's mother to like try to get her to stop him from doing what he's doing. And they also brought Kyle with them because obviously Kyle being dead was just too good to be true. And yeah, they get there and they find the Vivacia, but Paragon wants to go rescue Kenneth because we know that they had that bond when Kenneth was a child and that he loves him. And they go try to rescue him, but Kenneth is actually killed. I mean, not instantly, but like he's very badly injured, and then he is taken to die on the Paragon. And then Kyle is also killed, which was very satisfying. Honestly, it was more satisfying than Kenneth's death, because when Kenneth was dying, everyone was just like so worried about him and like caring about him and made sure that he was like dying in good conditions. And I honestly, I just wanted him to die a painful, lonely death, but unfortunately I did not get that. Anyway, they win like the battle that they were on, and Wintro and Malta go back home, and Malta will like in fact be the like mother of the next generation of elderlings, whatever, something like that. And Wintro will be the captain of the Vivacia because he still has the bond to her unlike Althea. And so Althea will stay on the Paragon with Brashen, and they decide to go check, like to make sure that the serpents got to where they needed to go to turn into dragons. And then they also find like a hidden treasure. And that is pretty much how it ended. And let's go into my final thoughts. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I'm not gonna go through what I think about every character because I have done that in the 2 previous videos, and also like I've talked about them in this one, so I'm not gonna, repeat everything that I have already said. But basically, in this book, I pretty much continue to love the characters that I loved, and I continue to hate the characters that I hated. And I feel like I am mostly happy with the ending for like all of the characters, or like most of the characters, because they all ended up having, like all the characters that I cared about ended up having a happy ending, but it was not the ending that you would have expected like when you started the series, but they did like end up being happy. For example, from the beginning of the series, I was wanting Althea to get her happy ending with the Vivacia, but the Vivacia kind of like doesn't need her anymore. And although Althea was very upset about that, I mean, she accepted that, and she will now be living on another life ship that she cares about and that cares about her, Brashen, who she loves. So like she's happy, but it's not the happy ending that I was expecting her to get. But I mean, she's still happy, and Vivacia is still happy, and Winter is happy. So like, if they're happy, I'm happy. And also so happy that Kyle died, and like pretty much no one gave a fuck about that. Really satisfying, like I said. And like Kenneth's death, like I said, not satisfying because he was just shown so much love and care, and I didn't like that, honestly. Everyone like loved him for no fucking reason. But I mean, at least he's dead. That's good. And then I absolutely loved the story of the serpents and the dragons. And honestly, when I started the series, I did not expect that, because in the beginning I was not invested in their story at all, because I had no fucking idea what was happening. But I ended up being so invested in that plot line, and like I was actually like, I really cared about that. And I mean, I was invested mostly like in all of the story, and I had a great time with this book. And I mean, the pacing, like I said in other videos, is a little slower than like my preferred type of pacing for books, but I still really loved it. I don't think I loved it as much as the Mad Ship though, because I just like every single character that had the satrap in it, I honestly didn't care, because every chapter he was in, it was mostly like political chapters, and like the satrap and like Althea's family, like her mom and her sister, all those chapters were about like the politics, which were obviously very important. And I usually do care about politics in like fantasy books, but for some reason, I didn't really care about the political plots of this series, this trilogy. I don't know why, but every time they were talking about that, I was just like, this is not what I'm here for. I just cared about like the life ships and the serpents and the dragons and the characters in the life ships. And that was that. So those chapters were definitely not like my favorite. And so I didn't love this book as much as the previous one, but I still really enjoyed it. I still thought it was amazing, and I am giving it 4 stars. And so that is the end of this trilogy, and it's the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!